Hello professional detailers and motoring enthusiasts, I'm Matthew Gibb and welcome to Matt's Magic Detail Tech Australia YouTube channel and my Tips and Tricks Tuesday video. So I'm going to go through some tips and tricks with you on washing, decontamination, polishing, protection and interior cleaning. Let's start off with washing. Now if you have a highly concentrated shampoo that's 300, 400 to 1 or whatever it might be, even higher, definitely use that. If you're using one that says put 50 mils into a 10, 15 or 20 litre bucket, I would say use a lot more than that, because even though that might clean, what you're lacking there is true or enough suspension and lubrication to seriously help minimising wash marring and eventually swell marks. Good technique is one thing, enough lubrication and suspension is another. To improve the quality of your shampoo, you can add rinseless wash to it, or a detail spray, or a spray sealant even. I've done that. I've even put Class, back in the good old days, back in the 90s, put Class all-in-one or the actual Class acrylic sealant in a shampoo, and I've put 4-star polymer silicon-based sealant shampoo in another shampoo as well, and done all sorts of different mixes and blends and got some crazy results over the years. But yeah, the main thing is to increase your suspension and your lubrication. So under the wash mitt or your towel, if you're using a nice high GSM towel and it's soaking wet, and towels do actually hold more shampoo or more rinseless wash than actually what a mitt does, you'll find that it glides better and it just feels more lubricating, and it actually is. Now decontamination, I recommend using a clay towel or a clay mitt first, and then if you really want to get that paint super smooth and actually improve the clarity of it just a little bit, but actually get even more contamination off to make your polishing even easier, especially if you're doing 2 or 3 stage corrections, I recommend using a clay bar after that. And the brand I recommend the most from my testing is Built Amber. They have a soft, medium and a hard, and they can all be used with just water. They're easier to knead. And another tip with clay bars, if you get one and cut it in half, make it into the size of your palm, not just a little round piece where you're doing this with your fingers. That's not ergonomic. You want a nice big palm sized piece so you can be doing this and you're not having to have your fingers all, squashed up like a crab, and just all squished. You want some people do this with little tiny pieces and they're there for ages. If you want to make it faster and actually make it more ergonomic so you're not wearing your hands out and your fingers out so much, do that. And the one thing I don't recommend, you can do it obviously on big flat areas, don't use clay pads on a machine anywhere near body lines. My experience with a number of them has been that as soon as you run over that with a polisher, with that clay pad, it actually leaves big white long streaks of marring all through it. It looks terrible. And if you're going to polish afterwards, okay, you can probably get away with it, but it just makes more work for you. So I don't really like them that much. They speed up the process, but I don't really like them. Now, polishing. You can use more than one product. And here's what you can do. You can mix Kosh Chemi H9, 75% in a bottle, 25% of F6. That's a great combination. I've been using it for years. You can also do combinations with 3D, with ACA 510 or 500 with 3D1, ACA 510 and 20 together. And I've even used 3 or 4 different polishes together, or 3 polishes and 1 paint sealant all together, and gotten some crazy results over the years. So if you want to get some outside the box results, try doing outside the box combinations and with liquids and see what you find. Most of the time it may not work for you, but if you stick within the same brand, generally you can actually mix them and they work really well. What the second product can normally do is give you more lubrication and better finishing. Now, as far as protection goes, what makes a great ceramic coating? A coating that bonds really, really well without attacking the surface to bond to it. Doesn't etch, doesn't really attack it hard. Hasn't got horrible solvents in it that attack the paintwork. But most importantly, excellent flexibility. If you had someone saying, okay, I've got a 12H hardness coating, my concern would be it lacks flexibility and it's going to be too rigid, and it's either going to crack eventually, or it's going to shatter, or just probably wouldn't shatter, but it would chip. And one of the examples of this, even though it's not a ceramic coating, but it's actually a paint, PPG brought out Ceramiclear back in the early 2000s, put it on Mercedes vehicles, and it protects the paint really well, and it takes ages for it to get marked up. But it actually stone chips like a son of a bitch. it stone chips so badly when you're on the roads, on the highways especially, because it lacks the flexibility to absorb those impacts. Okay, everything's going to get stone chips eventually, but these things really chip. So I would rather have a coating that's got vapors and gases to carry the active ingredients than solvents and resins, or at least solvents anyway. My personal preference. But yes, flexibility is key. Now, interiors. Switch out your regular shampoo that can suffer wicking issues and requires usually an acidic rinse and then another step after that in some cases, to an encapsulation cleaner, so a carpet cleaner that encapsulates. It's a non-wicking, inherently non-wicking product. It can be used in an extractor to shampoo to replace conventional shampoo, so it won't wick. You don't have to do an acidic rinse afterwards or do multiple stages. And you can actually use it dry, so brush, vacuum, spray your end cap down, brush it in, literally leave it to dry, then vacuum it up, and every time you vacuum that carpet it gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. That's if you do it dry. If you do it wet, you never have to worry about wicking again. Now, if you use leather cleaner, try to find, if you're actually someone that uses a dedicated leather cleaner like I have, or a vinyl and leather cleaner, try and find yourself a concentrate. This actually is the one I've got left. This was a concentrate and it was actually orange. It's now yellow, so it's been diluted. But at least it was a concentrate, and it was like, I think it was about 10 or 15 to 1. Most leather cleaners are actually purely just ready-to-use products. If you can avoid using ready-to-use products as much as possible, it's going to make it more efficient for you as a professional detailer. As an enthusiast, it's not so bad, but as a pro, it's all about efficiency and cost effectiveness for your business. Now, also, one last thing, if you don't have any dog hair or cat hair tools, professional tools to actually remove that from a car's seats and floors, try the bottom of a thong. You'd be amazed. And I give a shout out here to my good mate Chris Houston over at In-Depth Detailing in Idaho, USA. He came up with that one day while he was over, I think it was while I was either over here or I was over there with him many years ago, back in 2013-14, and we didn't have anything, and we went, okay, well, let's try this, and it works. So it's amazing, actually does a pretty good job. So if you've got a thong laying around, have one around the place at the shop, and if you haven't got a dog hair tool yet, use that, and then if you find that works good, use it. If it doesn't work quite good enough, get yourself a professional dog hair removal tool. But that's a quick tip, and that's the tips for this week. Thanks for watching, guys. All the best. And if you need any tech support, I'm always here. Cheers.